Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Hilltop Pillbox here in Abbotsford, British Columbia, Canada. And yeah, we are set up once again for some more Axis and Allies North Africa. It's probably the last game I get to play for a while. So here we're going to be doing the shorter version than we did last time. And I also screwed up a couple of rules last time. So again, never got to play with anybody. I'm just on my own and trying to make my way through the rules and the different rules for the different scenarios. So we're doing the one that starts on the 7th round here, Operation Torch. And you can see that neato little train mold. That's from Historical Board Gaming, as are all the Italian and German pieces here, as well as supply tokens. You see the supply tokens that are here, and they're always fun to have. Now, they represent 5 supply, and I didn't put them on here because there's 18 supply to start. I don't have any tokens that denote 1 supply, so we'll just use the ones that come with the game, which are handy because they do have the reroll on the back. If you know you do a flank attack, or whoever does the attack with the fewer troops, if you're coming from 2 territories, then they get to re-roll everything that's 8 or above, and you get to re-roll them limitless times. All right, so we're just going to get going here, and the other thing I've screwed up on pretty much all my games is all you can deploy to Malta is anti-aircraft guns, and I've deployed fighters there to beat the band, and obviously that's against the rules. So we are just going to make sure we don't break that rule anymore, and then we are going to get moving. But on this turn, Germany, on this style, when you start in with Operation Torch, Germany does not actually get a turn. So you start with the UK, and I've decided for my convoys here, I don't know if this is smart, but we're just going to get some bodies on the beach. So we got 4 men and 3 artillery, and ready to go. And of course the Shermans from the kind Americans, and we're going to start going forwards here, and hopefully we can have a clean gameplay this time. A lot of moving parts in this game, a lot of if-thens and a lot of exceptions, so I really I feel badly whenever I screw something up, but sometimes, you know, you read a rule and you just assume that's just the rule all the way, and they're not, some of them. So you gotta play a few times and have people correct you. Again, big thanks to Matt Hyra, who is the creator of this game, who has sent me some emails and saying, hey, you know, you did a good job, but this, that, and the other thing, and I really appreciate that. Same with my Invasion Normandy game that's almost ready to go. We've got the player aids getting printed right now, and things on the map all fixed. Should be ready to go in January sometime. And, you know, if you're playing it and you have some questions, you can certainly email me at hilltoppillbox@gmail.com, and I am more than happy to search through the rules for whatever you're looking for and let you know how it actually goes. It's a pretty straightforward game once you get going, so it's yeah, you just go and roll. But here we go. We're going to start out here, and Britain gets to go first, the UK gets to go first, and I think we are just going to charge right forward here and see if we can't just dislodge the Africa Corps and the Italians out of Mursa Medra. All right, wish us luck. All right, we've done the first round, and I don't think anything really untoward's happened. Fairly standard stuff. The British did come in here, and on the first round of combat, they got a goodly number of hits, and the Germans only got 1. And on the second round, though, the remaining German units, there were 3 of them, they got 3 hits. So took out the rest of the infantry and an artillery piece. So just tanks and artillery here, which would be a tempting target if they had more than this in the areas close enough to attack. And in fact, this guy was in Benghazi, so really attacking with 2 Italian infantry at 2s, probably not a good idea. The British constructed another bomber and an infantry here, moved out the battle wagon and the sub, possibly going to go and make their presence felt a little westward. And the Italians deploying to the Tripoli convoy zone, bringing in a fighter to help out. And also not going after Malta yet, but they will be next turn. Just waiting to see if I was going to use that British fighter for something else, but we decided to just leave it there. So the Axis are going to be a little unfettered, bringing units into the theater, and not a lot the Allies are doing to really stop them at this point. But next turn they will likely be cutting into the Axis economy here when there's 8 points to be had there. And over here, no hits by the French. And so if you don't know the rule, if the French don't get any hits in defense, then they instantly flip to Allied units. And there was one French unit hit in Oran, but the other two stacks of Allied infantry missed. So fairly good start for the Allies in the western section here. The British built a couple destroyers. They do need the air power and the naval power, so they're ready to go. Over here, we have the Americans who have to deploy to Casablanca on the first round, so we have a plethora of trucks and supplies ready to go. And a couple destroyers, because if the Germans decide to build some subs, they get placed immediately and they go right into action. So if there were no destroyers there, the subs would come over and Zorch some things. If they got hits, of course, they still got to get hits. And then each round, the Allies are able to set aside 2 units to escape. So I just thought we'd throw a couple destroyers in there, and that'll probably dissuade me, the German player, from placing any units, any submarines there. And we're going to focus on trying to bulk up Tunis, because that was a bit of a disaster in the last game. All right, so carrying on, we will see if there's a couple of neat things that can happen here. We've got our scout car here for the Italians, and the British scout car moved out a little bit. And they're always looking for those shots you can take. Shooting at aircraft is always fun, and always going after supplies as well. Always a good time. Round 8 coming up. We'll see if the vaunted Italian Air Force will leave Sicily and jump into action. Stay tuned. Round 8 is done, and no real advancement here on the eastern front of North Africa. We do have the Shermans down in Siwa, and they are threatening to just go straight over towards El Agheila. And the Italians and Germans are in Tobruk here. The German artillery will likely pull back this turn. I just stayed there to keep myself from attacking with scant forces. So this will be the last turn the Germans collect those $8. Over here, the Italians were able to safely land everything, and they still have some stuff going to be coming in this next turn. They did bomb Malta. They were able to take out a couple of supplies, one in the water and one in Malta, but they lost a bomber doing it. So I'm always tentative about that. It is nice taking away supply from Britain, and they aren't getting any this turn. So that'll really cut into the British economy, although they are going to be supplementing it with German and possibly Italian dollars here fairly shortly. Over here, the Americans and the French are all buddies and moving eastward, and have a decent amount of stuff here in Algiers. The Germans have moved up Constantine, and they're possibly going to take a poke at Algiers. There's some supply there, but I neglected to build any German trucks because, I mean, let's face it, they're going to pile up in Tunis and use them to, they can use stuff there to attack out of here, here, and here. So there's no real reason to buy trucks for the Axis over here, although they could likely use more than the British one they absconded earlier when they come with the setup. And so they're going to be having to get their supplies moving if they need them. I'll have to buy another truck. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do that though. I think these supplies here will be used up or destroyed by the attacking British, and then it'll just be the ones over here, which again, these three territories here will allow for quite a defense, just kind of moving out from those two territories. You can see the American destroyers and British destroyers moved into the Algiers convoy, and I did build a British battleship because there were 2 fighters and 2 bombers for the Italians, and 2 fighters and a bomber for the Germans. So that's a lot of firepower that could go after a convoy at any time. So the Americans spent all their money on air power and a man and a couple of I put no, these are the destroyers from the first round they came across. I was going to say I built them there. I can't build them there. It's a cold medicine, folks. If you can't hear it in my voice, a little bit under the weather. And so everything from Gaston Lake moved up, and so we have our 8 units there. Not much in Oran, Algiers, and of course, what you want to do is get these things moving this way, right? This is kind of allow you to bring more things on. So you do have to get them moving eastward in order to save them. All right, so here we go with the round 9 coming up. And I failed to mention the Italians built another destroyer. Just trying to make sure they do have a presence in the water for a little while anyway. Keep the British honest. Okay, round 9 coming up. All right, on to turn 10 here, and we can see that the British have been able to clear out most of the Italians and Germans. Just the one German anti-tank gun sitting here, but they're pretty fun little units, defending at a 5, and they get targets on tanks on the first round. So that the mines and Tobruk did their job and kept a whole bunch of infantry behind, so they're going to take a little while to get back into the game. And the Axis are going to have to start plunking this up, or else these trucks are going to go along, get on the road there and start hauling guys back and forth really quickly. So I have to put some pressure there. As you can see, Tripoli is pretty vacant right now. I've decided that defending Mareth and Tunis are key. Now, you'll see that the French, or the Americans, have Kasserine. Now, there was a large contingent of Germans in Constantine, attacked into Algiers and took it, but the British counterattack was able to dislodge them, thanks in no small part to the air power that came along, and they were able to take care of the remaining German troops. And so the Americans were able to use these French troops to attack up into here. We tried to bring in the American troop here, but the mines stopped them. And of course, the American bomber went back here just to make sure that there's room for the rest of the ground units to operate. So this is where we're at right now, is we've got ourselves, the British have their fleet here, and they are consolidating power in Malta. The Axis have somewhat consolidated up here in the Tunis convoy, and the Allies are looking after the Algiers convoy. There could be some action in the convoys here this next turn. Not much to really hit with. And go after the supplies here, but with a sub, a battleship, and 2 fighters. The Germans would definitely lose their much needed air power, and the Italians would lose their boats that are keeping the Tunis convoy in Axis hands. So it will be interesting to see how we go going forward. And sometimes I don't think of things until afterwards, but we will make sure we think of them as we go, as best as we can. All right, round 9 coming up. Here we go. Right up to turn 11, and things are going poorly for the Axis. We'll kind of show you what went down. The German anti-tank gun in Benghazi, I neglected to leave a supply with him, and so he just died because he was surrounded. He couldn't retreat, and he couldn't fight. So yeah, he just died. Italians came up to El Agela, which the Shermans had previously blitzed through and taken, and hey, a buck is a buck, but unlikely that they will actually have that buck in the next turn. Not much else to say there. Up here in the Tunis convoy, the British came in with everything they could, and they pounded the convoy to smithereens. They killed the boats. The mines were ineffectual, and the few German units that shot back did get a couple of hits on the battleships, but that is it. So all they have landing this turn are 2 men, 1 artillery, and 10 supplies. And they have a lot of supplies already, so yeah, more units that they are in heavy need of right now. The Allies are getting gummed up a little bit here, though. They were unable to land some units last turn, and that's just the way things go, I suppose. You get a little blocked up over here. And that is pretty much where we're at. The British are going to try to come and grab some of these supplies and bring them up. But beyond that, I think we are kind of entering the end phase here. The Axis just have not had great rolls. They haven't had horrible rolls, but there was a stack. They got attacked here, and I decided to force the issue a little bit with the Germans, and then with the Italians, I attacked Kasserine Pass and took it back, and then I neglected to bring supplies up, and so there were 5 German artillery sitting here, had no supplies to fight, and so they could only retreat, but the massive amounts of US air power and ground power got 5 hits on them, and that's the die right there, actually. And so that just wiped out a stack of 5 artillery, which is at a premium right now for the Axis. They don't have any German artillery on the board now. So I think I'm not very good at this game from an Axis perspective. I'm going to keep playing, of course, but I am not sure how to keep the Allies completely at bay here. It's likely the British will dislodge the Italians from Kasserine, and then the Allies are going to be putting a lot of pressure on Meerut, and obviously be putting pressure on Tripoli here soon. And I don't know, maybe I attack too much with the Axis. I just see an opportunity where I can wipe out stuff. And I've wiped out stacks. Like, there were 7 British, there were 3 artillery and 4 infantry in Kasserine last turn. I wiped them out and didn't even take a hit. And I thought, well, here we go. But then the response was rather, it was withering. So, you can see the Americans are in Constantine right now. They're in Lagahout, and they'll be moving forward. Yeah, there's room to build some French troops this turn. There was no room last turn there's only room for 1, so you just built a tank. So, yeah, any notes out there if you're watching this and you've watched this far and you're actually not skipping forward on the video? Let me know, like what is a better strategy to help the Axis out here, because kind of turns into an insurmountable thing for me. The mines, keep building mines and keep trying to keep the Allies out, but you can't rely on mines. The dice go cold and you just get hit with a wall of stuff. And it's a 1-2 punch, when you get the British and then the Americans hitting you. They just can't withstand that. So anyway, let me know your thoughts on this. We're going to keep on keeping on, though, and we'll try to last in a couple more turns here. All right, turn 11, round 11 coming up. All right, turn 12, round 12, and I think this will likely be the last round. The Italians, trying to bulk up here in Tripoli, but, their men are fairly anemic, only defending at a 2, D10s, so not real good there. Lots of British coming on. So in the next 2 turns, all this British stuff will be punching into Tripoli. Of course, we won't go there, we'll go here and then cut up that way and Yeah, it's just not going to be good. But over here is the real story. Once again, real good attack, I think, a good spoiling attack. Just not enough stuff to really put a dent into the Allies and the steady stream of reinforcements. Wiped out a whole bunch of Brits again, but then the Americans just follow it up and come in. So the Germans will be landing a good amount of stuff this turn. Really, really bad convoy attack, and the Germans will be landing a bunch of stuff here. And so, yeah, fun little thing here though. My Italian scout cars were able to come in here and take out a truck. I think that was actually last turn that happened. It might not have been this turn, but able to come in and take out a truck. The turn before, one of the cars came in for the Germans and tried to take out there was a British bomber back here and tried to take it out. And the bomber killed the scout car. You can only do one round of combat, right? The scout car is just zipping in there and attacking very quickly at a 2. And the bomber defends at a 1, and wouldn't you know it, there you go. So I think we're entering kind of the final notes here. Now the Germans will have a goodly amount of materiel in here, so they might actually withstand the first attack. The British won't be hitting them with anything because they don't have anything that'll be able to reach. So it'll all be the Americans, and that's unless the mines get really good. But the problem with Tunis and the whole minefield thing, the way they've designed this, Kasserine Pass is really solid gold real estate because you have to put the mines along a border between territories, and this is a border and this is a border. So now if you play that as one border, then it's probably not a problem. So I might have to dig a little deeper and make sure that's what it is. So, but it's still tough, having to defend at least 2 entrances into Tunis. It's very difficult to do. But we'll see what happens here. There could be a miracle for the Axis here on round 12. Stay tuned. We'll let you know how it all works out. Well, I was right. Yes, that was the last round. A good 1-2 punch from the British and then the Americans, and it was just too much. The anti-aircraft gun did some honest work, though. Took out a couple of planes. And the mines did stifle some movements in, as you can see, but it was just too much. So once again, folks, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And any ideas that you have to help the Axis survive, all of this is the Deadpool, or part of the last Deadpool. Any ideas of what the Axis can do to survive the Allied onslaught from the West, I'm more than happy to listen to. Should I spend more on naval power? Should I be buying, destroyers and subs over here? Should I buy some German subs here and, put pressure on the Royal Navy and the U.S. destroyers and the Air Force, like the air power that they're bringing in? It seems to be a real upward battle, but I have heard other people say that the Axis always wins this game. Like the Allies are never able to take Tunis and Mareth and Tripoli. They bulk it up and just keep them at bay at arm's length. And I just that has not been my experience thus far. So let me know what your thoughts are on this. And again, thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. And this is, I'm filming it right now on New Year's Eve of 2024. So hopefully you have yourself a safe and a fun New Year's Eve celebration and a fantastic 2025. I look forward to journeying with you together. Thank you to all my loyal subs who have been there over the years. And we're going to have some big things happening this year. We're going to have some really big giveaways. So stay tuned for those. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please feel free to do that. And head on over to some of the other channels that I mentioned on my channel. So if you're on my channel, you're likely already on General Hand Grenades, but if not, head over there. And Sky Marshal definitely puts out some great stuff and very constant stream of content. And Triple Crown does some great stuff. Hell on Wheels, Corporal Clegg. You all know Hambone HQ and G.I. Joe and YG. And I'm going to start forgetting people here. So, yeah, just support all of these channels that do historical board gaming or Axis and Allies or anything that just allows the community to come together. So thanks so much, though. And as we always say here at the Hilltop Pillbox, and for the last time here in 2024, hug your loved ones. Thank your friends for playing, and may those dice be with you.